Welcome to the yoga method. Today is a mobility practice for longevity. So all of these movements that we see in terms of mobility, we want to be able to break them down so that they are accessible for everyone and that there's stepping stones available to everyone so that we can improve our mobility at any age and any stage of life. So we are going to start at the right end of your mat or the top of your mat with your feet hip distance. And I'd like for you just to begin by closing your eyes. And begin with the connection to the four corners of your feet. So grip with your toes, dynamically lift the arches of your feet. And you'll notice this ripple effect up the legs. So the quadriceps engage, the hamstrings, the glutes, the core. The moment we engage the stability muscles within our feet. Everything is connected, everything communicating with each other. So use the gripping of your toes, the lifting of your arches to awaken the lower limb. And then find a little bit more length through the crown of your head, growing taller. But then dynamically roll your shoulders up, back, and down. So your collarbones are broad, your heart is lifted, and your core is supporting this beautiful posture. Just take one more breath. And when you are ready, let's begin by opening our eyes and just placing our hands on our hips. I'd like for you to take all of the weight into your right foot. So a little micro bend in your right knee. And lunges is one of the most important and well-used movement patterns that we have from an allied health standpoint, but from the mobility and yoga world as well. So this is stage one, if you are working on regaining your ability to do a lunge. So we do a little step back and a little bend of the knees. Variation 2, we are going to dip in a little bit deeper, but we never have to touch the floor. And if we have some guidelines to work with, I am checking that my front hip and knee is aligned and my knee is stacking over my ankle. It doesn't matter if it goes forward, but just for simplicity's sake. And in the back line of the body, my ear, my shoulder, my hip, and my knee is in one line. And as I descend, I'm looking for 90 degrees through my front knee and 90 degrees through my back knee. Let's just do 3 more of these. So whether you're doing just a mini step, and returning. Lunges is one of the best mobility exercises because it's also a dynamic balance exercise. Deceivingly difficult. They look quite simple from the outside looking in. So that was our last one of those. We're going to come to the top and just give everything a little shake, please. Shifting the weight into your left foot. Grip with your toes, energize your leg, your core, and set your posture. Variation 1, we're just doing those little mini weight shifts back and forward. Now what I'm looking for if I'm working with a patient is I'm watching this front knee like a hawk, because if there's weakness, the knee will buckle in every time they go to step back. So please keep checking that your knee is tracking over your second and your third toe. Variation 2, we're deepening a little or a lot, and we're trying to control the descent. So the temptation to kind of fall down is ever so appealing, but we want to use our muscles to control the movements all the way down and all the way up. If this still feels like a little bit too much to ask, you could always use a chair or a broomstick to give you a little bit more support, because feeling safe and maintaining good alignment is the most important thing we're looking for. There's 2 more of these. So 90-90, front leg, back leg. And as we stack shoulders over hips, hips over the back knee. As we rise, we shift weight forward and we relax. Take a little reprieve and let's bring our yoga block into this. You don't need a yoga block, it could be anything. But I'd love for you to start with your big toes together. Feet could be just slightly apart between the heels. And I'd like for you to just lift up and down through the tips of your toes. Now our gastrocnemius, our calves, and our soleus muscle, they are really critical. So believe it or not, the strength of our calves and our soleus is directly correlated to the risk of falls. And you definitely don't have to strengthen them in this position. You could do it in standing with your hands resting on a countertop. But what I like about this position is your hamstrings are receiving a really beautiful stretch at the same time. Now, the longer the leg is, meaning between or behind the knee, the more I'm focusing on gastroc, the calf muscles. And in a moment, I'll invite you to bend your knees so that we get a little bit more love for our soleus muscle as well. Let's just do 2 more. 1 more, please. And when the time is right for you, gently bend your knees, place your block a little bit off to the side, and come back with your feet hip distance. Now, variation 1, the weight is in the right leg. We're dynamically engaging, and we're doing that little rock back and a step forward. Variation 2, you're descending with control through the down phase, eccentric, and through the up phase, concentric. Variation 3, we are going to step both legs back. So we're going to land with our left knee, take our right leg back, step forward with our left, and then step up on our right, okay? So back with your left. See if you can get that right leg around without compromising your posture too much. Bringing your left foot forward, stepping up with your right. So back with the left, right leg comes around, left leg forward, standing tall. 4 more. So the ability to get up and down, either out of a chair or off the floor with no hands, is a brilliant test of how well we are aging and places that maybe we need to strengthen. So look, Ma, no hands, right? So as long as we're maintaining good technique, and again, ways of breaking this down is to use a chair for support, a bench for support, a broomstick for support, and I believe that was your last one. So shaking out anything that needs a shake and taking the weight into your left leg, grip with your toes, energize your leg, your core, and then when you're ready, variation 1, it's just a weight shift, but we're being meticulous with what is happening between the hip and the knee joint on the front leg. Variation 2, you'll deepen. You don't need to touch the floor, and we're only deepening as far as we can keep the posture lifted and the hip and knee aligned. So if your knee is buckling and your posture is buckling, we know we're asking too much, okay? Final variation, we're stepping back with our right, taking our left leg back, keeping the posture strong, right leg forward, left leg forward. Step back with your right, land softly, back with the left, right leg forward, left leg forward. So how long can you keep your spine? And the more strength we have in our core and our hips are technically part of our core, but the more strength we have in our abdominals and our pelvis stabilizers, the more easily we can navigate these movement patterns. So break them down and just keep coming back to these movements. Making progress takes time, but more importantly, it takes consistent, persistent effort. There's 1 more. Right leg back, bring that leg around, other leg, and standing tall. Please shake out anything you need before taking your block again. Big toes together. Heels can be gently separated. And if you feel like you want to move to the lower end of the block, or get rid of the block, that will be your choice. So head is lifted, legs are long, and on our in-breath, we're lifting to the tips of the toes. On the exhalation, we're gently descending. So please bend your knees any amount that you need, but I'd also encourage you to use your block to lift the floor a little bit more if you're finding the floor is just a little bit far away. Breathing in and breathing out. Let's add on. So on our in-breath to the tips of our toes. On the exhalation, bend your knees and open them wide. Lift your hearts. And then inhale, pelvis high. Exhale to land your heels. Inhale to the tips of the toes. On the exhalation, bend your knees. Stay on the tips of the toes. On the in-breath, lift through your hips. Lengthen your legs before exhaling your heels to the earth. 4 more, lifting. Exhaling, descending. Inhale to lift the hips high. Exhale to land your heels low. 3 more, so strengthening calves and soleus. And as we descend, challenging the flexibility of our ankles, our knees, our hips. Inhale, hello hamstrings. Exhale to gently release. Last 2, inhaling strong through the tips of the toes. Long spine, lift your hearts as you breathe out. Inhale, lifting through the hips again. And exhale to descend. We'll do 1 more. It's technically just a half because I'd like us to stay here on our toe stand. So working those intrinsic muscles within our feet. At the same time, a little compression to create a little synovial fluid lubrication in our ankles, our knees, our hips. And then variation 3. 1, fingertips on the ground. 2, just lift the fingertips a little bit. And variation 3 on your in-breath, reach as high as your shoulders will allow. On your exhalation, bringing your hands down any amount. 4 more, so really starting to feel those little muscles in the feet, working really dynamically. A little toga, as well as mobility practice. Inhaling up, exhaling to come down. Last 2, please. Steady your eyes, belly strong. Breathe in. On the exhalation, gently breathing out. 1 more time. Is your core on? Is your breath still smooth and deep? Inhale high. Exhale, release your hands, lift your hips, and release your feet. Bring your feet hip distance. Oh, the feet, I don't know about yours, but mine are kind of on fire. So taking a moment here just to really sway through your pelvis with your hands resting on your thighs, your shins, or the floor. Bend your knees as much as you need. So a little sway through the hips for 1 more breath. And when the time is right for you, we'll lift our heads, we'll lift our hearts, and then I'd like for you to step your left leg way back, please. So be generous with your stance, and please just check your beginning posture is hip and knee in one line, and knee right above your ankle. And we can always see the big toe on the inside of the foot. Right hand is going to rest on right thigh. And with our left hand, we're just going to shift the weight forward so the knee will go past the ankle into dorsiflexion. And then we'll shift the weight back. So as we challenge the dorsiflexion in the right ankle, we're also opening our left hip flexor. So just use your hand on your femur, on your thigh to encourage your knee forward. Reaching, maybe we find the floor, maybe we don't, and then coming back again. Just taking 3 more of these, so a little tiny shift as we lower. Inhaling to shift back, please. Last 2. Heart stays lifted, spine stays long. And are you keeping your core strong with your left glute? Last time to exhale and descend. And then inhale to return. We're going to lengthen through our right leg, draw our toes up, and please bring your hands behind your head. Open through your elbows, lift through your heart and chin as you breathe in. And on your exhalation, maintain the length of the spine and only go as far as it feels good. On the in-breath, we'll rise all the way back up. Make sure you lift the heart and the chin. On the exhalation, lead with your heart as you gently bow yourself in. Let's do 3 more. Full breath in. Gentle breath out. Bend your knee as much as you need, and only going as far as it feels really good for your body. One more time, please. We'll pause, we'll hold, we'll deliberately lengthen before we exhale to draw ourselves all the way in again. When the time is right for you, lift up, ground that front foot. And this time I'd like for you to start once again with your right hand on your right thigh. From here, when the time is right for you, inhale to find your length and exhaling to descend. See if you can get a flat hand to the earth, second round. And then variation 3, maybe we could explore bringing our forearm to the earth. Inhaling to rise. Exhaling to come as low as our body will allow. So it'll be your hip flexors that are being challenged, as well as your hamstring and your adductor and your ankle mobility on your right leg. Just 2 more, please. We've got this. One more time. Exhale, pause, hold before rising all the way back up. Beautiful crew. Lengthen once more. Bring your hands behind your head. Take a breath in together. You know what you're doing. And on your exhalation, leading with your heart, we're going to put these movements together. We rise up, listen, ground your foot, taking your right hand to the inside, left hand to the ceiling. Inhale, turn. Exhale to bow. Inhaling to rise. You'll ground your right foot, right hand to the inside, left hand to the earth. Let's do 2 more. Full breath in as we pivot, lift, and hold. Full breath out as we challenge our hamstring flexibility dynamically. Inhaling to rise, grounding through your right foot, right hand to the earth. And I invite you to stay and breathe. Gazing to your top hand if you wish. Please use your right shoulder to encourage your right knee towards your pinky toe. Wake up your core and wake up your left glute for 2 more breaths. 1 more full deep breath in. And on that exhalation, releasing that hand to the inside. And let's give our knees a little reprieve. So knees wide, big toes together. Take a moment to really drop into your version of child's pose. So knees wide, big toes together if that is your preference. But the health of your knees and your hips will dictate the position of your pelvis. So if there's any discomfort in your knees, please lift your hips higher. And if there's any discomfort in your shoulders, bend your elbows more. We just want to find a way for every single one of us to feel comfortable in this posture. Last 2 deep breaths, please. 1 more full, deep, beautiful breath in and out. You'll ripple your way onto your hands and knees, and when the time is right for you, your left leg will come forward. You'll rise so that your shoulders are stacking right above your hips, your hip and your knees in one line, and your knee is above your ankle. And if you are finding the floor is a little bit far away on this movement pattern of shifting and reaching, please always using any tool to allow your practice to be more accessible for you. So on our in-breath, we're stacking, left hand supporting left thigh. We're pressing our femur forward, knee goes past the ankle. Hand might find the floor, it might not, but we're shifting back. So the goal is not to touch the floor, maybe eventually, but we're really focusing on the alignment of our joints. And when we focus on the alignment of our joints, we create healthy joints. So hip and knee travels together, knee moves over the second and the third toe, and through the right leg, we're using our right glute muscles. We're tightening them to help open the front of the hip and stabilize the pelvis. Just 2 more of these. So a little shift forward as far as it feels good for you. A little shift back, shoulders stack over hips. One more time, descending with control before rising back up. We're going to lengthen through our left leg, bring our hands behind our head. Take a breath in to open the arms, lift the heart and the chin. And then on your out breath, only as far as it feels good to your body. On your inhalation, carefully rising. So without the hands, we're definitely increasing the dynamic demands of this stretch. Inhale, lift your heart, lift your chin, maybe even lift your eyes. Exhale to maintain the length of the spine as you lead with your heart. 3 more remaining. Full breath in. Full breath out. And if this is not feeling right for you, just use your hands for support on your thigh or on the floor. One more time. Last one's always the best one. Lift, pause, hold before we ease our way down, finding the edge of our hamstring range of motion before rising all the way up. Please ground into that foot. Take your left hand to your left thigh. Take a breath in. And we begin this dynamic movement again. So variation 1, hand to the block or hand to the floor. Exhaling to descend. And then our last variation that we offered was moving the forearm towards the floor. It might find the floor and it might not. And repeat after me. It just doesn't matter. What matters is the alignment that we're maintaining through the joints and the long, beautiful spine with core and hip stabilizers on. Last 4. Rising tall. Last 3. Rising tall. One more time. Slow, smooth, controlled breath out. And then rising all the way back up. One more time to lengthen through our front leg. Make any little adjustments that you need. And then hands behind the head if that feels possible, or you're welcome to keep them on your thigh. But we breathe in together. And on the exhalation, we're bowing in while maintaining a long spine. On the in-breath, pause and hold. And then we're grounding, shifting, left hand to the inside, right hand high on the out-breath. Inhaling to return, to lengthen, to pause. Exhale, ease your way in any amount. Rising with the in-breath. As we exhale, ground into that foot, maybe grounding into the block. Before we rise and reach and breathe in together. So hamstring half, splits pose. And then rising up. We're grounding into the right foot, sinking the weight forward, taking a twist as we open the back hip. Last 2, please. Take your time, navigate your way through the sequence. Easing your way up with control, grounding, shifting, revolving. This is your last one. Rising up. Find your hands wherever they feel best. Heart leading, spine long. Easing our way up on the inhalation. Ground shift, and this time we're going to hold. So right hand reaches as far as we can. Dynamically spreading tension across the heart. Fingertip to fingertip. As we stay and breathe for 3. Stay and breathe for 2. One more full, deep, deep breath in. And on your exhalation, hand to the inside, please. Let's swing that leg around. Time to get off of our knees. I hope it was okay for you. And then please square your right shin to the short edge of your mat. And then notice that your left leg, your shin is parallel to the long edge of your mat. So I'm going to encourage all of us to just lean back into our right hand. And this in itself might be more than enough of a stretch. So option one, we're just sitting, resting, and focusing on the sensation that we're feeling in many places. Variation two, we'll just reach as we take a breath in. And then opening back towards the front. I'm going to reverse the breath pattern. Breathe in together. And then reach on the exhalation. So the posture stays lifted as we breathe in, maybe even looking down the length of that arm. And variation three, you'll bow and you'll reach as far as it feels good to your body. We rise on the in-breath, spiraling. And on the exhalation, stay tall or descend. We'll take 4 more. So full breath in. Using your core muscles always to support the movement that you are exploring. Last 3. Last 2, please. Lucky last one. Inhale, spiral. And as we come around this last time, either staying, you could ground your hand here, or once again, explore the depth. And let's just stay static, passive. And when I say passive, we are still working dynamically through the core to support us. And the breath continues to open us. Just one more deep, full breath. And when you are ready, please ease your way up and all the way over to the other side. So left shin is parallel to the short edge of the mat. Right shin's parallel to the long edge of the mat. Variation 1, take all the weight into your left hand, and that might be more than enough. So we could just stay and focus on the breath here. If it feels available, we reach open as we breathe in. And on the exhalation, we're just turning and reaching. So a little bit of movement with breath. Magic for the body. Medicine for the body. So this is variation 2. Variation 3, same movement pattern, but we're dipping in to find our edge. And then we're rising with the in-breath to turn and open. Exhaling to come down and around. Inhaling to reach, to rise, to revolve. Let's take 4 more. Inhale. So through repetition, the body begins to yield. It begins to open. It begins to soften. But through repetition, we also strengthen the body. Last 2 with movement. And this is your last one, beautiful crew. Inhale, rise, reach, pause. And then please just taking your version with your hand high or sliding that hand out long, exploring your edge. And your edge is a place where you can relax, where you can breathe, but you're definitely acutely aware of the gift of the posture that you are exploring. One more deep, beautiful breath in. And only when you're ready, lifting through your head space, easing your way out of that shape. And let's just come to Sukhasana, please. With your right leg in front of your left, it's just a cross-legged position. And you're absolutely welcome to come to half lotus if that is part of your practice. I'd like for you to take your arms out wide. Take a breath in. And then on the exhalation, flip your right hand and just bring one hand behind the head and one hand into the curve of the lower back or between your shoulder blades. Inhale, open. Flip the other hand. Right hand behind your head, left hand, curve of the back or between your shoulder blades. So as we work on this shoulder mobility, please notice what happens to your spine and your neck in particular when the hands move behind us. So there'll be a significant urge to poke your chin and to slump as the hands come behind. But we want to teach our bodies that this is where we live, in this beautiful, long, lifted, neutral position, and that our mobility happens on top of that beautiful posture. So we are not sacrificing our posture to explore further mobility. Our mobility patterns are happening on top of that beautiful foundation. Just one more time each way. So right hand behind the lower back, left hand behind your head. Maybe your fingertips touch. Opening, exaggerate the length of your spine. And last time, right hand behind your head, left hand curve the lower back. Maybe the fingers touch. Before we gently release, ground your hands. Just roll through your shoulders up, back, and down. One more time, resetting the shoulder blades up, back, and down. Please bring your feet out in front. And I might just turn sideways, but you'll spin your fingertips out to the side. So I'll spin this way. And we're going to, again, work shoulder mobility, but opening through the chest. Variation 1, fingertips are turned out, feet hip distance apart, and you're pressing down in order to lift up, create a baby back bend shape. Variation 2, from here, we're lifting on the in-breath, and on the exhalation, we're descending. So the lift does not have to be big. It could be just a little tiny lift, but we're thinking about broadening the collarbones and keeping our scapula, our shoulder blades, anchored. So as we breathe in, broaden across the chest, the collarbones, the head of the humerus draws back, and then we're gently, slowly controlling the descent. Let's do 4 more. So your version, whatever your version looks like, perfect. And just knowing consistent, persistent, patient, dedicated effort always, always produces results. Last 2, I believe. So really exaggerate the collarbone, the head of the shoulders, the scapula sliding down. So our upper trapezius tends to want to do everything. The shoulders want to elevate, but we want to learn to love our medial and lower trapezius because they anchor our shoulder blades and help us maintain beautiful positioning. This is your last one. I might have given you an extra one. So how forcefully, energetically can you press into your feet, use your hamstrings, use your glutes, use your core, and then gently, slowly, mindfully ease your way down. It will be your left leg in front of your right for cross leg, or your left leg coming up if you did half lotus on the first side. Once you're established, please once again, take your arms out, full breath in. On the exhalation, right hand flips, curve the back, left hand behind your head. And then could you ease your way forward without compromising your posture, just for 2 breaths. Inhale to rise. Please release. On the in-breath, flip the thumb, right hand behind your head, left hand slides up between your shoulder blades. Find length before you begin to explore a little bit of spinal flexion And only moving to the point before your chin pokes forward and your spine begins to really round. One more full breath in and out. Rising once again. Last time. Flipping right, hand behind the head. Take a moment to exaggerate the lift and the length. And then lead with your chin, lead with your heart. Maybe the second time we're coming a little bit further, but it doesn't matter. If there's any discomfort in the shoulders, you've gone just a little bit too far. Taking one more full deep breath in and out. Rise on your in-breath, a little windmill of your arms as we come to the final side. Take your position and then exaggerate your length, and then maintaining the length as you gently, mindfully, lovingly ease your way in. Any amount that your body is applauding, that your body is celebrating. Taking 3 more breaths. For 2. One more full, deep, deep, deep breath in and out. On your in-breath, ripple your way up before releasing through your arms. Please roll your shoulders up, back, and down 3 times. One more, please. And if you have time to just lay down and rest in stillness for a few minutes, I encourage you to do so. But I thank you for your time, your effort, your energy, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Namaste. Thank you, beautiful crew. Have a wonderful day.